So, holiday Utkatasana. Elbows squeeze in. Pull the ribs in towards the navel. Good. Keep pressing the head back into the hands. Keep pressing the head back into the hands. That's important. You're not trying to pull the head forwards or wrench the neck. Sit. Work the legs. Pull the ribs in. Utkatasana. Vacation style. Hold the pose. Breathe into the back. Okay, now dynamically we're going to go into a half bend. So keep pressing the head into the hands. Start to straighten the legs. Scoop out the lower belly. So that's exhale to there, scoop the belly out. Push the bum away. Inhale, drop the sitting bones back to Utkatasana. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Exhale. Inhale. Okay, reach your arms up. Sit down. Extend your legs away. Okay. Seated holiday Dandasana. So, Dandasana, which is essentially a half bend for a headstand. But then I'm going to pop my hands behind my head. Interlace the fingers and press the head into the back of the hands. Drop the shoulders down the back. Scoop in the armpits. Press your elbows up towards the floor. Spread the toes wide and pull the legs into the hip sockets. Good. Press your elbows up to the ceiling until your shoulders move down the back. Keep squeezing your elbows in. So this is effectively a Adha Sirsasana, half headstand, but flipped 180 degrees. So if I had a low ceiling here, I could imitate doing the headstand on the ceiling by pressing the forearms and elbows onto the ceiling. And you can imagine doing that, that's helpful. Keep pressing your head into the back of the hands and keep working your legs. Smooth, even breathing. Draw your legs into the hip sockets. Don't let yourself go lazy and slumped. Engage the back muscles, scoop out the belly. So we're nearly at the headstand proper. So we're going to move into a forward bend just to counteract this, but we're going to keep pressing the head into the hands. So as you exhale, start to move forwards. Keep pulling the legs into the hip sockets. Pull the legs in. Keep pressing the head into the back of the hands. Keep working. Pull the ribs in towards the navel. So the neck and back muscles working very hard to resist the forward bend. Squeeze your elbows in. Pop the fingers down onto the floor, as if your puppy is playing piano again. Remember, the shoulders are wide. And draw your legs in towards your hip sockets. So engage the thighs, pull the legs in. Breathe into the back. And then walk your hands back to sit up. Okay, so we're going to flip over and we're actually going to turn ourselves upside down now. So just cross your ankles and roll the feet underneath you and come onto all fours. So once we get to this point, we're going to introduce the idea of the headstand and how you can practice an entry-level version and how to get up and how not to get up. Okay, so we're going to interlace those fingers again, and I'm going to suggest that you start with the cupped hand version, which is this one. Although if you're used to practicing the fist version like so, I'm happy for you to do that as well. Okay, and I'm going to pop my base down. Now we've done this before in the forearm plank pose. So it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. And then I'm going to slide my head into the little kicking T that's created by my thumbs or my fingers, okay? And I'm going to squeeze my elbows towards each other, and it's important that they're not too wide. So they want to be a little bit narrower than they're going to eventually be, because they're going to slip and your skin is going to roll over the arm bones and you're going to naturally end up wider than when you began. So go narrower than you plan and then you'll sort of roll out to the right sort of width. Okay, so the first thing is I'm going to set my head in, like so. Squeeze my elbows, and I'm going to assume that you're going to apply some of these techniques that we've been working on, and I don't have to repeat everything. So we're going to build from what we've already got, and we're going to walk the hips, lift the hips up first, like so. So the first thing to work on is to bend your knees enough so your hips get up, and you're on your tippy toes. So your hips have to come back over not just over the top of the head, but in fact they come behind the head eventually. So you have to be brave enough to get your hips high enough, which means you have to press your elbows into the floor. Because if all the weight is in your head and you've got no weight in the elbows, you're not going anywhere. So from here, walk your feet towards the face with the knees close to the chest, if you can see that. I made my feet even wider there. So my bum can get as high back as you can get it, okay? So you're right there with the knees up by the chest. And then practice squeezing your elbows in and lifting your head off the floor. Hello. Like that. So my head is clear of the mat, just like you were doing in the dolphin headstand. So you can lift your head up and pop it down. And if you can do that, you're in a reasonably good shape for the next step. And if you're not, then I suggest you stay there, okay? Because life doesn't get better than that if you haven't got a base. You're going to fall over, okay? So from here, as your hips go back, which they have to do, you're going to spread your armpits towards the wall you can see, which is the wall over there. Okay, and the first thing is you're going to take your knee into your chest, like so. So that's the first step I recommend, which is a half squatted position. And then you come right up to the tippy toe on that left foot. One thing you could do is you could use a wall with your toes. You could do it facing a wall with your foot on a wall. I don't recommend doing it the wall the other way around, okay? So you come right up to the tippy toe, and your foot's tucked in, and maybe you'll do the other side. So, yeah, I can do the other side. Until eventually you can lift the other tippy toe up and come to tuck, and that would be where I'd start. So don't kick up. I do not recommend kicking. There's absolutely no control in it. Who knows what will happen? You'll cost yourself flat screen TVs and broken furniture all over the place. And then, say you're in a squat, and you've got a low center of gravity, which is always good for a headstand. And then